to the Healthier Together podcast. I'm David Driscoll, and I'm here with Jonathan Martinez. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Great. And today we're talking a little bit about confidence, self-esteem, how to really make healthy confidence and why that's important, and then some tips maybe how to do it for yourself. What would you say to somebody who is coming to your center for the first time, dealing with issues of confidence or self-esteem or motivation? How would you start with them?
For confidence, I would say first thing is set the goal.
Set a goal.
Set a goal. Not just any goal, small goal. Very tiny, even 1 hour goal is, even 1 minute goal is good enough.
Yeah, right? Why not? You'd say that's more important than like psychoanalyzing your history.
100%.
Okay. So even a 1 minute goal, what would be an example of something that you could set a goal for 1 minute?
Like 1 minute exercise.
Doing something for 1 minute.
For 1 minute. So every hour I set an alarm. I'm going to do 1 minute of exercise every hour. I put it in my phone. When the phone goes off, I do it.
Yeah. Awesome. Sounds like a little thing. But what happens when you actually, probably some people watching this have done this. They've used the 1 minute app already. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. In my experience, when you get that app set up, it rings and you actually do it, there's an incredible amount of energy you get from just knowing that you followed through. What would you get people to do to build their confidence from like a physical, energy, physiological standpoint?
The first thing, instead of adding something to that, to my goal, is taking something away.
Oh, okay.
So removing what's not essential.
Wow.
Instead of adding something more, I have to go to the gym, I have to do this. No, just take out cheese.
Okay, take out cheese.
Take out bread.
That's number one, huh?
Yes.
Take out the cheese. All right, it sounds good. You know what I found? Pretty much anything as a first step, anything that requires willpower actually works. It can even, in the long run, be something that you come back to, but that willpower in the first week or two of restraining yourself, keeping your intention, it works.
And I would say it's the easiest time, the beginning.
The beginning, right. Because what happens later?
Plateau and fear of, not just fear of failing, but fear of success. What if I succeed and I don't know how to handle it?
Wow. Fear of success. Mm-hmm. You know, when you're sitting back just thinking about your life, everybody wants success. But usually success comes along with a lot of challenging situations, maybe things that are outside your comfort zone. How about for you? Have you had that experience of success comes with discomfort?
Big time. And for me, I would say that's probably where I feel fear the most. Fear of development, fear of more responsibility, and more weight on my shoulders, and I have to carry this more. And that always shook me from my roots.
I think that's probably the number one thing that people have to get clear on if they want to make a change or if they just want to get stronger is invite the discomfort and kind of welcome it and know that it's going to make you stronger. It's like working out, right? What happens in the gym? How does somebody do at the gym if they really don't want to feel any pain?
They don't go to the gym.
They don't even start.
Right.
Because they know it's going to hurt.
That's right.
Yeah. So feel the burn is probably the most popular catchphrase.
Yes.
At the gym.
So I think being able to face, that's why setting that goal, having that initial idea, this is what I want to create, and this is a responsibility that comes with that. Mm-hmm. So with this, it's that famous saying, what is it, Spider-Man, father say, with great strength comes great responsibility. I think that's it.
That's right.
So definitely for having these big dreams, especially for us, wanting to help people and wanting to help people not just for themselves, but for the development and growth of our community and our country and eventually all of the world, that requires a lot of constant motivation and drive.
Right. If you want to be comfortable, then you can't have a big dream. And these days we see a lot of people who, they might have a certain kind of confidence and they're winners and they compete well, but can we solve our problems in local communities and around the world? Can we solve it just with one person who's confident, who says they have the answer? I don't think so. And we know that, Body and Brain founder Ilchi Lee, he talks a lot about it's not the time to follow one prophet, one enlightened person, one world leader. It's a time for everybody to kind of wake up their own leadership.
Right.
So somebody who comes in, you have them set a goal. Then what are you going to have them do? You got the 1-minute exercises. How about energetically? What can they practice that relates to how confident and powerful they can feel on a daily basis?
So for that one, I would say the most important thing when I think about like energetic or just psychological reasoning behind confidence, I would convert it to absolute positivity. What does that mean? Absolute positivity is no matter what I do, I'm doing this for the growth of myself. I'm doing this for my friends and family, and I am contributing to all by doing this, what I'm doing. So taking all, like me in my life, even though I grew up with many hardships, I can see it as, oh, I grew up hard, I grew up with no money, I grew up with all this fighting and violence involved in my life. But instead I take it as, I know what it's like to be poor. I know what it's like to be helpless or defenseless. So then let me develop myself in these places so that way I can feel confident facing those things I've already faced again.
That's inspiring. That's like the nature of the hero's journey in general. And we can all do that, but why is it difficult to do that? I think part of it is because the environment is telling you something. There's like a normal reaction that people have. The environment's telling you can't do it. Look, you're failing. Look, you're left out. And then that outside evidence can really chop us down. So having that strong belief, absolute positivity, is also something about focusing on yourself.
That's right.
So what can people do if they're having trouble focusing on themselves?
That's a really interesting question because I recently asked myself, how can I wake up earlier in the morning? And then I thought, really silly, just wake up early in the morning.
And then when that moment comes, that's the answer. It was as simple as the same things you've been saying to yourself for years, but there's something different behind it when you're ready to actually commit. There's a different energy. And you often, when I feel that, I see that in that word there's a wisdom that I didn't notice before. You just do it.
That's right.
You just wake up earlier. Nothing complicated. You don't need anything else to wake up earlier.
Right.
But you got to make that decision. And the people who do really well, they know that. You just do it. Like Nike, right?
That's right.
You just do it. That is true. That's really true. I know one thing we do a lot is we help people practice physically kind of bringing their attention back inside by tapping the body. Right? Or, I really find this one helpful, strengthening the core. What kind of things do you give people to practice strengthening their core, either physically or energetically?
I would say the first thing that we can do to strengthen our core, especially energetically, is adjusting your posture. So if I sit like this and I talk about confidence, it looks a little bit unconfident.
Yeah, obvious to everybody.
So even just this kind of shift in my posture not only strengthens my core, strengthens my leg and my center of gravity, but it gives me the attitude of positivity and confidence.
So posture is a big one.
That's a really big one.
And posture is an interesting one because at first this feels more comfortable at first. Feels easy. But how about after like 5-10 minutes like this, actually you're in a lot of pain.
And very sleepy.
And then if you do this, at first, it feels like a lot of work. It's like, oh man, I got to use those back muscles. But then after a while, you actually feel more comfortable than if you were sitting like this all day. So it's that little breakthrough in the beginning, and then energy moves, your body is like, okay, let's do this. So we can learn a lot from posture. The mind and the body both know when we're using our willpower.
And that goes back to the idea of feeling difficulties when you set up your goal. So in the beginning, again, it is a little bit hard. I would say the very early beginning, it's easy because we just conceptualize it. Oh, I can sit up straight while I work for 12 hours. And then when you start 1 hour into your sitting up straight time, already you're in pain and discomfort. But once I pass that, just that threshold, getting past that one and then feeling that sense of comfort and peace in that place. But then, of course, it comes back again where it becomes more painful. And that's where self-development comes into play, constantly doing it, being persistent.
One thing I know is dealing with anxiety. You're dealing with anxiety. At first, it's still there. It's always there. Anxiety, no matter how many times you think about it, until you're actually doing something, you get the same reaction from inside. So oftentimes, I like to remember that on the surface, our conscious mind is actually just a very small part of what's going on inside of us. There's a big energy, unconscious or subconscious energy inside, and that takes time to shift. It's like a big cruise ship. You want to change direction, but at first it looks like it's not even moving at all. So how do you stimulate all that preconception energy, that habit energy, to follow you in a new direction? What kind of things help with that?
So this, for me, it also becomes something mental or psychological, or back to the term of just do it. So yes, I have anxiety. Yes, I have fears of sitting here staring at a camera. But I'm still doing what I need to do to pursue, to take action towards my dream or my goal, whatever that is. So yes, you have all these things happening, naysayers and your own limitations, but should that stop me from going forward? Of course not. All I need to do is simply go forward.
Yeah, do it. Enjoy.
So resolution is big on this part. I need to resolve my mind that that's really what I want, so that way I know that nothing's going to stop me from getting that.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people benefit when they have the experience of training their body. So doing physical exercise automatically challenges you because it's uncomfortable. If you want to get stronger, you want to get more flexible. If you have experienced that, it's a good entry into how to change your mind, because there's a similar kind of pain. Would you say so?
Of course.
So I've seen things that say when kids have the chance to do sports or do some physical exercise when they're young, it really helps them later. It's not the only way, but it's something that we have available everywhere. We can always do that 1 minute exercise with our body and build up our willpower, build up our confidence.
That's right. So going back to resolution of mind, I would say that in any kind of aspect of your life, whatever you're trying to develop, whether it's confidence or something else, that resolution should be the first thing that you do. I resolve to getting out of the environment that I'm in or the situation that I'm in, whether it be physically, emotionally, mentally, financially. But I need to resolve my mind why I really need to get out of this place and into a new and a better version of me.
And do you just make that resolution once?
No, you make that resolution as often as possible.
That's exactly what I was going to say too.
So affirmation, constantly affirming to you. And also, big one is declare your goal to those around you.
That I totally agree. Because it's easy to give up on yourself and your promises to yourself, but it's a little harder if you know that people know what you said you were going to do. Right. I highly, highly encourage you to do that. Exactly that.
Post it on Instagram, on your Facebook, how much weight you want to lose, by when you want to lose it, and post pictures and just constantly engage with your community about your goals. That way you are constantly being supported. Whether the person says you can't do it or you can, they're watching you. Yeah. And when you do
you know that.
That's right. Because it's everywhere now. Everyone knows it. So you can't hide from yourself or your peers. So
when you put it out there, when you tell other people, you start to really have a sense of what kind of people, what's their habit that you're around. Because some people are not used to having people want to better themselves. They're not used to that kind of vulnerability, and it actually scares them too. So you might immediately be thrown into a situation where you're the one who has to be the leader. Even though you're the one who feels like you're not good enough and you're trying to change something, if you have the willpower to actually change something, you're already able and necessarily going to have to help other people. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
A lot of people who are good, have a dream, they also judge themselves, I'm not ready.
That's right. And then I would say, like, if I develop a lot of anxiety or a lot of discomfort in myself, I tend to attract those kind of people as well in my life. Also anxious people, also insecure, or just wanting to be comfortable. And when I share that I want to break out of this comfort, they may question me by saying things like, well, do you really want that? And I think this really tests, do we really want that? Do we really want to achieve that?
It's a big test. It's a big test. I always think of the Bible when they say that Jesus was getting well known, and then they said a prophet is revered everywhere except in his hometown. And it's not to say that family and friends are bad for you. It's just that we all know people, and we know the way they used to be, and we're kind of usually comfortable with that, even if it wasn't healthy. And to see them change awakens the same idea in someone else, and sometimes that's hard.
Right. And they know your old habits.
Yeah.
So I say, I want to do this, or I want to wake up early, and they're like, yeah, right. You're never going to wake up early.
You're the last person. Yeah. And then we know that ourselves, and especially with family, sometimes they know that button and they use it. And maybe they're even trying to help. They're like, no, that's going to be too hard for you. You're not that kind of person.
Right.
But at the end of the day, your choice can trump all of that. I truly believe your choice is more important and more powerful.
That's why really setting a goal that you want, that no matter what somebody says about you or what you're doing, you feel it so deeply in your heart that it doesn't matter what others say, even if they're boasting you, they're giving you energy that can make you proud and arrogant. That's also
set you up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I need to check, when I get that kind of recognition, am I going to use it to develop pride, or am I going to humble myself and develop in a more effective way and just take that as a growth for my development in general?
Absolutely. I remember one of my teachers used to say, actually many teachers, they say, do you get inflated by the slightest praise? Do you get completely knocked down by the slightest criticism? And sometimes we do. But it's a great moment to see, what have I been basing my efforts on? What have I been judging myself with? Okay, I need to find something that's resilient. And then after a while, you look back and you start to really appreciate, at least in my case, the people who were willing to kind of knock you down.
Right.
Who wouldn't accept you're good enough and keep you comfortable, especially if they also had a standard. They had a vision too. If we share that vision, then you are the luckiest person in the world. If you have people that you trust that share a mission with you, man, I think that's the best.
So that's what you have to do. If you don't have somebody to share that mission with you, you need to seek those people who have the same mind as me.
Don't sit back and wait.
Yeah, not staying in the same place where these people are not supporting me anyway. So even though they're fun, I would say in our age group of people, they want to go out, they want to have fun, they want to party, they want to drink and do all these things. And it may not be conducive to what I'm trying to achieve in my life. So I need to have the strength to say, no, and that's not good for me. And then let me find some people that are working towards what I want as well.
Who you surround yourself with. And nobody wants to leave behind their friends and family, but there may be a time where you've got to kind of go into the pressure cooker. You got to go to work. And then when you come back, you can help those people. But if you're to try to change everything while still surrounded by the same environment, maybe the same people, then maybe you don't get there. You can't actually help them. So for a time, people go away to school. People go away for a new opportunity. They, all that stuff. There's a reason. There's a reason why we got to go out there and then come back home.
Yeah, so even if that's a really good point, because for me, I wanted to live in the area that I grew up in and help to change those people. But I didn't have enough strength, and it's constantly energy being drained from me. What I needed to do is put myself in a leader's position, working with and communicating with more socially influential people who can also help me to influence change in this community, like education and community development. Because what we need is that kind of engagement to work together towards building up our community. That way we can have a conducive environment for supporting each other's goals and dreams, whatever they are.
Absolutely. So when you see somebody who's doing that in whatever field, if they're good at getting people to work together, they're good at getting people to change and wake up, man, I go ask them, how do they do it? Spend time around them. Find out what it takes to have a fair trade so that they teach you, they let you learn what they've learned. Because learning from other people can be like 10 times, 100 times faster than making all the mistakes yourself. You're still going to have plenty. But when you're around that person who's been through that road, you can go a lot faster. And ideally, you end up helping a lot more people.
Yeah, and I would say a lot of times people, they're seeking mentors. And they may not know who can be their mentor. So the mentor that you have doesn't even have to know that they're your mentor.
Wow, secret mentor.
So you can learn, like watching this video, you are learning, I can be your mentor. And David Nim can be your mentor. Although we don't know you, you are learning from us through this video and through several billions of videos on YouTube and on the internet.
Yeah.
So you have all these secret, lovely, confident mentors.
But it's up to you what you do with it. At the end of the day, there's no one thing that you can watch and it changes your life. You got to do something with that afterwards.
Just do it.
Just do it. So we'd love to hear your comments. Please like the video and subscribe.
And share your goals, share your dreams.
Yeah. This is a good spot.
Even if you're posting them in the comments, you're writing it out, you're putting it out into the universe, and there will be people who resonate with that goal and dream. Just people love to go through comments. I know I do. They're the most influential part of videos is the comments.
And not always the most positive.
No. So that's where you can get a lot of motivation, posting it and getting feedback from there.
So Jonathan, why don't you tell them about where you're located and what you guys do and maybe what's coming up.
Okay, so we're located in Scarsdale, New York. That's Westchester County, right on Central Park Avenue. So a lot of New Yorkers, New Jersey people from even Connecticut, they come over here. So we have a lot of things going on. I wanted to share one thing that we're doing in our center is we have a project, a 100 outreach project.
Ooh,
so
awesome.
Our job, even though we have only one center in Westchester County, we are creating these satellite centers that we can go and teach. So whether it be a detention center or assisted living, nursing homes, hospitals, schools from elementary to college level, corporations. We know a lot of people can get to locations like this, whether it be no interest, no time, or no money. So we want to reach out into the community to go out and teach, whether it be mindfulness, yoga, meditation, whatever it is that people are trying to develop in, we are ready and willing to go and give it training and guidance.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much and have a wonderful evening.
We'll see you
or
next
morning.
time. Or morning. Bye-bye.